verbal. All right.
New York City about to get a communist mayor. Unbelievable that people are voting for this guy. This is crazy. The things that are happening, the Democratic Party going to the extreme left. We're about to see some crazy shit if that guy wins. But let's take a look at Jesse Watters Primetime to see what he talks about. Because we got that plus Donald Trump at NATO, keeping it real, being honest with them about them chipping in some money, a percentage to keep up, to keep everything safe. Also, ICE. Let's get an update as to what's going on. But in any case, my name is Noel. Here at Verbal on Life, trying to keep up the show. So hopefully you like what you see and give this video a like before you go anywhere. Let's take a look. Where was I? Oh, yeah. But what the guy's name? The Masani? Anyway, let's look at this because if this guy win, we're talking about government-run grocery stores. We're talking about free buses. We're talking about a whole bunch of free shit. Everything's just turning socialist. All right.
Party's over. Dad's home.
They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easy to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Everyone's sort of like.
Trump ended the 12-day war, and now Europe's calling him Daddy. And Daddy likes it.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you Daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
The media said Daddy was going to leave the family. But look at him front and center in the family photo. They said he was going to abandon NATO, but America first doesn't mean America alone. And now the Europeans can't stop saying, thank you, Daddy.
You are a man of strength, but you're also a man of peace. And the fact that you are now also successful in getting this ceasefire done between Israel and Iran, I really want to commend you for that.
Thank you very much.
And I think this is important for the whole world. Then on spending, it's absolutely true. I want to state here, without President Trump, this would not have happened.
Europe's thanking Trump for making them spend more money. Happy wife, happy life. But Trump, like a gentleman, says it's all about the guys in the cockpit.
The pilots did an unbelievable job like nobody's ever seen. They hit pay dirt. You see where I guess you probably look, they call it the wound. You see where the wound is on the earth. And 3 of them right next to each other. Perfect. And they should be admired and respected for what they did. And the fake news, in order to try and hit me, the fake news made them look bad. But now they look really good again.
37-hour flight, 13,000 miles above the ground, and they hit a target the size of a washing machine. And instead of lining up interviews with these heroes, CNN's saying they missed and the bombs were duds. Have you ever heard of an American bomb that didn't work? If that bomb is American-made, it's going off. We dropped these bunker busters into the ventilation shaft. These suckers slid down the shaft untouched and detonated in the middle of the lab. We basically slid a stick of dynamite down a chimney, and the media is claiming the living room's still intact.
This was an unbelievable hit by genius pilots and genius people in the military, and they're not being given credit for it because we have scum that's in this group, and not all of you are. You had some great reporters, but you have scum. CNN is scum. MSDNC is scum. The New York Times is scum. They're bad people. They're sick. And what they've done is they're trying to make this unbelievable victory into something less. The original word that I use, I guess it got us in trouble because it's a strong word. It was obliteration.
Rubio says it's like we sank a...
Yo, that's crazy. The first president to name the media by name and calling them scum to their face. I'm telling you, we're living in the best of times.
dozen full court shots in a row.
Here's a fact. the conversion facility, which you can't do a nuclear weapon without a conversion facility. We can't even find where it used to be on the map. You can't even find where it used to be because the whole thing is just blackened out. It's gone.
It's wiped out.
It's wiped out. Then we dropped 12 of the strongest bombs on the planet right down the hole in 2 places. Everything underneath that mountain is in bad shape.
After Operation Midnight Hammer, we thought we'd have to be defending ourselves against the Iranian attacks. But instead, we're defending ourselves against CNN attacks.
The instinct of CNN, the instinct of the New York Times is to try to find a way to spin it for their own political reasons to try to hurt President Trump or our country. They don't care what the troops think. They don't care what the world thinks. They want to spin it to try to make him look bad based on a leak. All of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated. So if you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated.
We basically threw grenades into a rabbit hole, and CNN is saying there wasn't any damage because they can't see underground. Tulsi Gabbard says this: new intelligence confirms what POTUS has stated numerous times. Iran's nuclear facilities have been destroyed. If the Iranians chose to rebuild, it would likely take years to do. The CIA and the International Energy Agency both say we landed knockout strikes, and it would take the regime years to rebuild. And Israeli intelligence, who kind of have Iran wired, say bullseye. Now, if the bombs didn't work, don't you think Netanyahu would be on the phone with Trump begging the B-2s to circle back around?
Yeah.
Israel already has spies combing through the rubble.
Israel's going to be telling us very soon because Bibi is going to have people involved in that whole situation.
It's like the media is Trump's #1 enemy. That's it. Their whole goal every day is to wake up and to see how they can destroy Trump. It's a crazy fight.
We hear it was obliteration. It was a virtual obliteration. When you take a look at the ground above, don't forget the flame is all underground. But everything above, if you look at the before and the after picture, everything above is burned black. The trees, everything. I believe it was total obliteration. I believe they didn't have a chance to get anything out because we acted fast.
You can tell there was a uranium fire inside the site because the top of the mountain changed color after the blasts. The same people who were saying the bunker busters didn't blow up are the ones who said Trump was a Russian agent. COVID didn't come from a lab, and Hunter's laptop was fake. But the reporter who keeps getting it wrong keeps getting promoted. See what CNN's business model is?
That's crazy because Donald Trump just said her name straight up. She needs to be fired like a dog. Like, who talks like that except for Trump? That's crazy.
When you're wrong, you get a raise. Trump says Natasha Bertrand should be fired and thrown out of the building like a dog. But even if Trump thinks you're a dog, he'll still answer your question.
Do we have any questions, please? Wow. That's a lot of questions. Who's a nice person? Oh, you're not a nice person, but I'll let you ask one. Go ahead. What's he going to ask? He is not nice at all. I know him well.
Whichever traitor in the Pentagon leaked this half-baked, day-old, flimsy assessment based on a single satellite photo, Rubio's ready to smoke him out.
These leakers are professional stabbers. That's what they are. They go out and they read this stuff and then they tell you what it says against the law, but they characterize it for you in a way that's absolutely false. There's no way Iran comes to the table if somehow nothing had happened. This was complete and total obliteration. They're in bad shape.
Now Cash and Bongino have launched a mole hunt.
I am told by the FBI the leak already is being investigated, and it absolutely should be, because this was a top secret intelligence analysis that very few people in the United States government had access to see.
If you stab Daddy in the back, you're getting more than a spanking. The punishment for treason? Death penalty. Now, you don't leak faulty intel during a war that undermines American military capabilities. Unlike the Supreme Court leaker, we better find this guy. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning, Secretary Hegseth and top military brass are holding a press conference. Fox will have it live. The Ayatollah has been missing for a week. He went underground and hasn't been heard from since. The ceasefire is still holding, and Trump's teasing negotiations to lock in a truce. The question is, who's daddy going to negotiate with? Fox and Friends weekend co-host.
Yo, my camera's a little messed up there. I hooked it up. Hopefully it works. My internet is messed up. But yeah, back to this whole Trump dilemma here. Yeah, if they find the leaker and tomorrow 8 o'clock they report it, that's crazy. I didn't know. They could send long jail sentence for snitching.
Charlie Hurt joins us now. So did daddy do it or did daddy do it?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. For years, we used to talk about the Democrat and the Republican parties as being the Democrat Party was the mommy party and the Republican Party was the daddy party. And something happened over the last 10 or 15 years where all of it fell apart. But like you said, daddy's home. The Republican Party is back to being the daddy party. He gets things done. It's not always pretty. Sometimes he has to raise his voice and yell at people, but he gets things done. And I think the American people are clearly down for it.
Now, Charlie, you don't know what's underneath that mountain. I don't know what's underneath that mountain. But if they drop bunker busters down a ventilation shaft, several of them, and these are the biggest, most powerful conventional bombs we have in our arsenal, I think they did some damage.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty safe to say. But the most important thing, of course, is we don't know. It's going to take time to find out. I can't wait to find out what the damage actually was. But what we're talking about here is, and I get why a reporter.
I'm thinking it's going to take years to find out, to get somebody to take pictures in there. I mean, years. It's insane.
Tries to get this stuff, whatever, and she's a moron. She doesn't know what she's talking about, shouldn't characterize, but I get why they want to get this sort of stuff. The real question is, who was it inside the administration, inside the government that leaked it? And if you don't believe in the deep state after this, then then you've lost your mind. This is the definition of the deep state. A wartime leak of very sensitive, confidential information. It is treason. The punishment for treason is the death penalty. This is not a joke. I think that it's and I pray that they do not back down on this, that they get to the bottom of who it is, and they can find who leaked this information. It is treason. The second thing is, we don't know what the actual final damage was to the site, but it wasn't just the damage to the site that's important here. It's the demonstration that Donald Trump is willing to do this. So if Iran does rebuild its nuclear capacity in a month or a year, you know what's going to happen? You're going to see a bunch more B-2s coming through, and they're going to drop the same bombs, probably bigger bombs, more bombs, and they're going to set it back even further.
Right. And so it tells the world, Charlie,
like you said, daddy's home,
that trying to acquire a nuclear weapon is more dangerous than not having a nuclear weapon. And this leak undermines that. This leak says to the whole world, you can go underneath the mountain and nuke up, and the United States can't do anything about it.
But I don't know about murder. Like, they're going to kill the guy who leaked? That's insane. I think there's going to be a lot of talk about that. They can't just do that. But it will be crazy to see.
But when's the last leak that was accurate? Do you remember?
Well, maybe the Supreme Court ruling on the Dobbs decision. But of course, that was totally weaponized and intended to try to bully the other Supreme Court justices into changing their position. So it's actually exactly the same point that you're just making right there, which is it's a politically weaponized leak designed to try to convince, basically make people make political decisions. And in this case, make the political decision that, okay, we can rebuild a bomb and keep it underground and it'll be protected. Sadly for them, it's not going to work because they're just going to get more B-2s if they try it.
Where's the Ayatollah? I mean, he's been in a bunker longer than Biden.
It's really interesting about the Ayatollah. And this, obviously there was some division in the among MAGA supporters about whether or not this was a wise thing to do. I think that the outcome of it proves that President Trump made the wise decision. He was not trying to get into a broader war. He wanted to eliminate lunatics' ability to have a nuclear bomb. And the proof for that is when Donald Trump told Netanyahu, you can't go after the Ayatollah. And he even sent out the tweet saying, the Ayatollah, we know where you are, but we're not going to kill you right now, is proof that Donald Trump is not looking for regime change. He's looking to keep nuclear weapons out of the hands of stark raving lunatics.
So the Republican base is now back together. The Democrats are voting for commies. I mean, they're just a mess. So he's over in Europe. He's got the Europeans calling him daddy. He's got them all throwing money at new armaments. He's going to come back. It's going to be July 4th. Fireworks are going to be going off. They're going to try to pass this big, beautiful bill. What kind of momentum does he have?
Oh, I think it's like nothing we've ever seen. I don't think we've ever seen a president with more authority and power and political chits than this guy has right now. And I think it will carry over into getting his big, beautiful bill passed. But the great thing is that on the left, we get criticized for like making hay out of all the, the transgender stuff and all the nonsense. We're not making this up. New York City, Democrats in New York City literally just nominated a communist, a full-blown communist.
I cannot believe so many people voted for a communist. Like the guy has some crazy ideas and people bought into it. So it's like, what the hell is going on? If that guy wins, oh man, it's over.
Who wants government-run grocery stores in New York City, who also is like pretty virulently anti-Semitic, but he's also a communist. And so we're not making this up. This actually happened. And Donald Trump is going to get to run against all of this. Republicans are going to get to run against all of this, against real people, real politicians in real places making real commie decisions. And it's going to be so good for the Republican Party. And my prayer is that Republicans remember their principles and stick to limited government, common sense, America first, Trump agenda, and they could be in power for the rest of our lives if they stick to it, and you have Democrats doing what they're doing in New York City.
Well, I just can't wait to send Johnny to a government-run grocery store.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's going to be gold. It's going to be gold. Charlie, good to see you. Catch him on the weekends in the morning.
Good.
Democrats nominated a communist. Plus, we found out who was working the auto pen. Right back.
The guy in New York, man, he's offering a bunch of free stuff. It's like he buying people and people are buying into that. The fact that the buses are going to be free, the grocery stores are going to be government run, defund the police. Like, we need more cops. What the hell are you talking about? It's unbelievable what's happening in New York. So if that guy ends up winning, man, I almost feel like bringing de Blasio back, and that guy was bad. But let me fast forward past the commercials. By the way, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like. My name is Noel. I just sneezed, and I'm trying to run the show here the best as possible. And let's find out what's going on with Eric Schumer and with the Democratic Party. All right, here we go.
Hot out. The heat wave has everyone sweating, especially women. More on that later. But the Democrats, they're melting down. Their base is toast and their leadership's a ghost. Kamala's been invisible since Juneteenth. Since Nancy busted her hip, she's been laid up watching Paulie P day trade. The rest of the Democrats, sunburned and silent. Chuck had to go to the hospital today. He was on the elliptical, but didn't drink enough water and got lightheaded. They just gave him some liquids and a lollipop and sent him back to work. We're glad he's okay. Auto Pen's staying cool. He was at the beach licking ice cream with his legs crossed. But Joy Reid said she'd rather a brain-dead Biden than Orange Crush.
I thought Joe Biden should have been forever vice president. I thought he was great vice president. He was a great wingman for President Obama. But as president, again, I had some policy differences with him. But I would still take him and if his brain is mush today over Donald Trump.
Biden's beach chairs in quicksand, but Joy has another plan.
I've been a Democrat since I was old enough to vote, but I'm barely hanging on, honestly. Fascism don't work for me, and I'm not willing to cede the country to Trumpism and MAGA simply because I'm clinging to this party. If Jasmine Crockett is the most effective fighter, give me Jasmine Crockett.
No.
Other factions want a full jailbreak. New York City Democrats just nominated a communist, and the commie shatters. Zohran Mamdani would be the first Muslim mayor of New York. Zohran's born in Uganda, raised in South Africa, and he only came here 7 years ago. The blacks and Hispanics, don't blame them. They voted for Cuomo. Zohran won whites, wealthy whites. They voted for a 33-year-old Muslim immigrant who you can see his nipples in this music video. He campaigned on turning New York into San Francisco, defunding the police, emptying prisons, legalizing prostitution, city-run grocery stores, free transportation, free injection sites, and he says if Netanyahu comes to the UN, he's going to have him arrested. Trump can't believe Democrats nominated someone crazier than Crockett. Quote, "It's finally happened. The Democrats have crossed the line. Zohran Mamdani is 100% communist lunatic. He looks terrible. His voice is grating. He's not very smart." Zohran's basically if Bernie and AOC had a baby who was diagnosed with early onset TDS.
We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle. And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism.
This man been in this country for only 7 years. He sounds like a maniac, man. Everything that he's offering, just a bunch of free shit.
To stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors.
My man is calling illegal criminals neighbors. These are the people committing crimes that gotta be deported. Come on now. This is ridiculous.
And to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party.
Zohran's got a temper like Antifa. He wants to throw hands with Homan. Watch.
How many more New Yorkers will you contain? How many more New Yorkers without charge? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan?
But Homan grew a beard, and he's not playing.
Federal law trumps him every day, every hour of every minute. So game on. We're coming.
Homan better watch his six, because Zohran's squad, nasty as they come. Hardcore white women. Kamala's stepdaughter, too. She threw on her Zohran bandana like it was Coachella and paraded to the polls with pride. Democrats haven't been this aroused in a long time. Some say since the Messiah.
He is winning. And again, it really represents the excitement that I saw on the streets all throughout the city of New York. And I haven't seen this since Barack Obama ran for president of these United States, when the community in the streets was shut down all over the city with young people shouting for change.
Unbelievable, man. Smart people, all these intellectuals running for this guy. That's insane, man. We're living in some crazy times.
Sage Steele joins me now. How you doing, Sage?
Every time I come on with you, you make me want to start by rolling my eyes or pulling my hair out. I'm great otherwise because these stories, these topics are insane every time. Go.
How crazy do you think this guy is, and how much damage could he do to New York?
The guy's crazy.
For a city that I thought had already been so greatly damaged, I was wondering, can it ever come back to the days of Rudy Giuliani, who cleaned it up beautifully? You're there. So much more damage can be done. he makes Eric Adams look like a conservative right-winger at this point, based on what he is putting out there. The things that you listed, and how about committing $65 million to trans surgeries for children and adults? How about making it a sanctuary city for queer and LGBT community? And those are just a couple of things. I love what you mentioned about the grocery stores, government run, because everything else run by the government anywhere, much less New York City, is so brilliantly done, isn't it? This is scary to me, but I also, you got to kind of point the finger at obviously those who are voting this way, but for the Democrats to put this out as their candidate, this guy, against Andrew Cuomo, like, yeah. I understand the dilemma there. Kamala's stepdaughter talked about the trauma it took as she was heading towards the to vote last night. And I mean, this is traumatic. What they're about to do to the city absolutely is traumatic, and it breaks my heart because I love where you are, but I have no desire to go back because of it. And it's already bad. Think about what's happened since COVID, right? With all of the housing, with these office buildings empty,
I'm glad I left New York City. I grew up in New York City. I was there for over 20 years. And to bring in this madman, oh my God, the violence is going to be insane, especially in the hood.
Real estate prices dropping, people leaving in droves. This is only going to make it even worse, I think. It's one thing to be a liberal, a classic liberal. I know a ton of classic liberals who do not agree with socialism, though, and that is what is about to happen. So you got to now root for Eric Adams?
I mean, I can't believe we're saying it, but he might be the only hope here. I mean, they had government-run grocery stores in the Soviet Union, and there was a famine. If you think the lines are long enough already to wait to get bread, just wait until the government's running it. The baby boomers, the Bidens, the Nancys, the Hillarys, the Cuomos, they've been trying to keep a lid on this radical wing of the party for a long time. Is the genie out of the bottle? Is there no going back?
I'm a glass half full person. However, with this, there's not much optimism left in my mind because of things like this. When I was in New York the last several times, you go to a restaurant and every single person, leading up to the election in particular, was like, we're done stepping.
You know what? If this guy wins, New York are just going to deal with it and then complain, and talk about we need something else. Oh my God, this guy sucks. Like, they're going to act like they didn't see it coming. Like, wow, we're so shocked. The man is just telling you you're about to bring hell to New York.
Over homeless people in front of every single business. We're done with the tens and tens of thousands of immigrants who have overrun the city, and then it's been allowed to happen until Eric Adams got smart or started to listen to maybe some strong encouragement from Donald Trump. To me, New York is on the verge of being San Francisco, which says a lot. One of my previous favorite cities as well, but no longer because of what they have allowed to happen to it. The Democratic Party is void of leadership altogether.
San Francisco and Chicago, like, Chicago looks bad from what I hear. I don't live in Chicago, but all I hear is bad news about it with that mayor that they got, or is it the governor? The governor. The point is, Chicago's doing bad, and now I think New York is going to beat all of them and do worse than all of the mayors.
Right now, I mean, what is a leader? Someone to coach, someone to inspire, someone to uplift, someone to hold you accountable. Name me one person in the Democratic Party who does just one of those traits, one of those things for their party. If it's AOC, and as Joy Reid or whoever that was, Letitia James said, Jasmine Crockett. Okay.
I mean, the only Democrat name who comes to mind is Harold Ford Jr., but unfortunately, he is not running. You know what? It couldn't just become San Francisco, Sage. We over here could become LA, and there could be riots. If Homan's Ice guys come in to pick up some bad hombres, and Zoran the Destroyer comes in with his Molotovs, I mean, we might just have to send Johnny out here to get some footage. And, that's a little dangerous.
Might. I do love when he was there against Homan there, right? Spewing whatever he was spewing, but it's like in sports, hold me back.
Guys like that.
I'm sure Homan was shaking in his boots when he came out in that organic mode there. It was comical to watch, but it's not funny when you think about what New York City is on the verge of. I really thought there was hope based on what happened in New York and really so many other people coming out, the black vote up in New York City in 2024. And now look, but this again goes back to the candidates that you hand people. They thought they learned after Cuomo. And now look. So
you know what? This would be a good reason, or more of a reason, for New Yorkers to complain of what's going on. How is this happening? Like, the man is telling you what he's about to do, all the crazy shit that I think everybody knows doesn't work, but yet he's getting voters. How? How is this even possible?
I'm sad, but hopeful, I guess, because this is America. And anything can happen. Go out there and bribe some people. Come on, Jesse, you're out there.
I don't have that much money. Ask Kennedy. You'd do a better job at that. I'm getting there, Sage. Make New York safe for Sage. We want her back here having dinner and stepping over homeless people again. Good to see you. Breaking news on the auto pen and women in heat.
All right, let me pause it right there. Actually, you know what? It would be a good thing to see this guy win. And then all New Yorkers just going to spend 4 years complaining how crazy the decision that this guy's making, while the right-wing media is going to be pointing it out that he said he was going to do it. He said he was going to do all this crazy shit, and yet people voted for him. So it'll be a good experiment to see this guy win. And if he wins, it's just going to give more voters to the Republican Party. They're going to say, whoa, the Democratic Party is insane. Look what they got as mayor of New York, the biggest city in the country. So I can't believe he made it this far. Let's see if he wins. Or hopefully Cuomo will come back, because if he wins, you know what? I'm just going to say New Yorkers needed that guy. They needed a reason to complain as to what's going on, when this guy is telling them what he's about to do. And it's just about to turn New York City into a communist city. All right, let me go past the commercials and let's keep watching.
Democrats are already trying to cancel July 4th. A city in Los Angeles County is telling everyone, stay home on Independence Day. They're worried ICE is going to raid their party. So they're shutting it all down. What about the citizens who want to celebrate the country? No fireworks for them. ICE has its hands full. And they're not just nabbing gangbangers. Over the last 7 days, they arrested 130 illegal Iranian nationals. They just picked one up who came in under Obama, and he was strapped. ICE said this Iranian's lucky, not because we caught him, but because the loaded 9mm pistol he had hidden in his pants when we cuffed him didn't go off. ICE is also battling domestic bad hombres. While everyone's eyes are on the Mideast, Antifa icebreakers are rioting again in Portland.
Anyone, to include the press, trespassing on federal property is subject to arrest.
Crazy. That's crazy.
But Antifa is getting shellacked by ICE, so they're calling in reinforcements. An LA official is telling the city's gang members to kick ICE off their turf. Listen.
I want to know where all the cholos are at in Los Angeles. 18th Street, Florencia. Where's the leadership at? Because you guys are all about territory, and now that your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there is, there ain't a peep out of you. We're out there like fighting our turf, protecting our people. And like, where you at? So whoever's the leadership over there, just get your members in order.
The 18th Street gang, not exactly filled with upstanding citizens. They're one of the biggest gangs in LA, with members coming from Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras.
Whoa.
MSNBC's Nicole Wallace, heartbroken over the fact that guys like that are getting shipped out.
I remember the first day I read about the deportations to El Salvador of the alleged Tᖇદેᗯ members for whom no evidence was ever presented that they had anything to do with Tᖇદેᗯ. I wish I didn't feel so gutted, and I wish I could stop thinking about these guys being scared in El Salvador.
I'd rather them be scared in El Salvador than Americans being scared here. But Democrats can't help themselves. They always defend the foreigner and attack the good guy. Holman's on high alert.
I spent a lot of time with my boys growing up, but as I got more and more climbed the ladder of what I've done with ice tractor and now back, I don't see my family very much. My wife's living separately from me right now, mainly because I work so many hours, but mostly because of the death threats against me. She's someplace else. I see her as much as I can, but the death threats against me and my family are outrageous.
Democrats don't realize that this is bigger than politics. Homan's doing really important work.
There's like 300,000 missing children under the last administration. We're out looking for now because, again, we found thousands of them. We rescued some victims of sex trafficking. 2 weeks ago, we rescued a 14-year-old that was already pregnant, living with adult men.
Biden's team facilitated the biggest trafficking operation in U.S. history. Most people don't even know that. Biden might not even know that. One of his top aides just testified to Congress that she directed auto pen signatures without knowing who gave the final approval. Host of Takedown with Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen, tell me about this politician who's calling in gang hits on ICE.
Well, it's absolutely outrageous. And one of the reasons ICE is so busy is because so many people came in under the last administration. And we have seen in the last few days a number of arrests, including a man named Tabithar Karimi, who was an Iranian sniper with the military. Now, he meets a girl in Alabama online playing Call of Duty in 2019. They meet. He comes here legally. She's pregnant. They pick him up yesterday. So there's all this uproar about he didn't break any laws. He came in legally, but we don't know who came in the last administration. And I'll tell you one little story. In 1986, an Irish woman named Anne Marie Murphy gets on a plane in Heathrow, 32 years old, pregnant, just going to meet her fiance in Israel, flying El Al. It turns out he was a terrorist who, unbeknownst to her, planted a plastic explosive bomb in her suitcase. Now, an alert El Al security agent found this. Otherwise, 370 people would have been dead because a terrorist took advantage of an innocent woman from Europe. We had no idea.
I mean, we are dodging the worst of the worst every single day. You sometimes come face to face with these people.
Right,
one guy, called his mommy?
Well, in a recent sting in Livingston Parish, Louisiana, we had a guy who walked in and was confronted by me and then Sheriff Jason Ard's detective team, and watch what happens.
Hey, Mom, I got some bad news for you. So instead of class, I'm actually getting arrested right now.
What?
Yep, I was trying to meet with an underage female.
How old is the girl?
15.
Brandon, that's illegal.
I know. And I knew it was illegal coming over here. I had a bad vibe and everything.
Wow.
Oh, so he just confessed he knew she was 15 and it was
Exactly,
illegal.
to his mama.
And also to the police and the cameras.
To the captain standing right there.
Oh, my God. And there was another guy you got. He was from the Bahamas.
We were doing a sting recently in Polk County, Florida, Sheriff Grady Judd's team. And we see illegal immigrants in almost every sting. This particular one came from the Bahamas and overstayed his tourist visa. Did you bring condoms?
I had a lot of condom on my pocket.
Yeah, so you had a condom in your pocket.
Because I was actually wanting to go to an actual person of age to do it with.
Right, so you're just going to check out this young girl with a condom and cookies, and then once you solve this human trafficking crisis, you were going to solve it on your own, didn't want to call the police or the sheriffs or anything.
Yeah, I know.
Once you got all that taken care of, you're going to go have sex with somebody of age. That was your plan for today?
Really. It's probably I was going to do it another time.
It sounds like one big bull story.
I know.
He brought cookies.
Cookies and condoms, Jesse.
Oh, my God. All right, Chris Hansen, Takedown with Chris Hansen. It's everywhere. We love it. You're doing God's work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Jesse.
Can women take the heat? Abby Hornacek gets put to the test.
All right, let me pause a commercial. If you're still watching the video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like before you go anywhere. My name is Noel, over here bringing you guys live Jesse Watters Primetime. And I can't believe he's still running that show, catching pedophiles on tape. Like they've been doing that show since I was a little kid, and I'm like in my 40s now, and they've been running stings and catching people on video since forever, and people don't catch on. You still got all these men that get arrested and get brought on TV on Fox. But yeah, like I was saying, they illegally got to get deported. So if they got a new mayor in New York talking about he's going to go up against ICE, that's the federal government. What the hell is he doing? Already, he's not even a mayor yet, and he's saying that he's going to go up against the government. Insane. New York City is going to be funny to watch. All the news report talking about this maniac, and New York is complaining because nothing good is going to come out of it. I mean, socialism doesn't work when you put it into practice. But if people don't get it, then they got to see it and they got to suffer through it. All right, let me skip and watch the final segment.
Okay. First up, we just found out why Irish Rosie wanted weed and Xanax.
During his first go round, it was very difficult, and I got myself into some bad places. You know, I was very, very depressed. I was overeating. I was over drinking. Coming to Ireland was totally a way to take care of myself and my non-binary autistic child.
But we're happy to report that with the help of the fat shot, she's doing much better.
Not that hungry because I'm on that Manjaro, and it really takes away my appetite. So I eat a lot less, but I feel a lot better.
Does it seem like we're hearing more from Rosie now that she's in Ireland?
I do. I think she might be a bit bored. But, you know, I looked at both of those clips were from a 10-minute long clip. I watched the whole thing.
I'm sorry.
I was very intrigued. Now, I do have some advice, if I may. At the beginning of this clip, she talked about her duvet. She said she had a winter duvet and it was too hot, so she changed to a summer duvet. And I think if she started looking at politics that way, it would be much better. She had something that wasn't working anymore. The majority of Americans had that duvet for 4 years, and then they chose a new duvet for the next 4 years. So if you look at things like a fluffy blanket, it really takes a lot of stress off. And then she doesn't need those other things like weed and Xanax.
You want to know why I hate duvets? You never get the comforter inside them.
No, it's impossible. You can't take it out. You can't wash it.
You can't wash it. I shouldn't say that.
I wash mine, just to be clear. But
okay. Someone washes mine. It's definitely not me, though. We're in the middle of a very intense heat wave, and some of us, not me, aren't handling it very well. I made this observation last night, and now I'm even getting more heat. I have an observation. It's not an accusation, and it's not targeted at anybody individually, but something that I've noticed about women. The heat affects women differently. They get more upset about the heat than the men do. It affects everything, their mood, the way they conduct themselves, their temperament. They hate the heat. They hate it. So why can't women handle heat like men?
I call, what's a word I can say? Bull. I don't agree with this at all. So this was a person in your life. This was your wife, I assume.
You would assume,
maybe,
right?
I don't know, maybe, okay. So maybe she's just, she's upset with the man, her husband.
Maybe
it's you.
It's not me. It's not the heat. It's me.
It's you. I think you might be making her a little.
Something.
Maybe.
So it's not the oppressive 100-degree temperature.
No, it's not.
That's making her a little
her
crazy.
Blood boiling
I'm
more
doing
than any,
something.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
well,
your fault.
I disagree again. And
you don't
finally,
wash the duvet.
It looks like Scarlett Johansson's taking lessons from Andrew Cuomo. That was her Jurassic Park co-star, Jonathan Bailey. He's gay, and it wasn't the first time. Here they are kissing on a different red carpet. Scarlett's married to Saturday Night Live's Colin Jost, but that's not stopping her from kissing her gay co-star.
How much do we love Jonathan Bailey? He's so cute. He's so cute. We know you love him because you get in there and smooch. And I just have to say, I was a little jealous.
Can married women kiss their gay coworkers?
Their life has no bearing on mine, so they can do whatever they want. For me, I think a kiss is a very important thing that you share with a loved one. A romantic relationship on the lips, if it's going to be on the lips. I don't like when Tom Brady does it to his teenagers.
No, I'm not running that. If you're my wife, you're not kissing nobody in the face. That's insane.
this. I don't think you should be doing it to your gay best friend. Colin Jost obviously doesn't care because she's done it a few times, but
Why doesn't Colin care?
I don't know. Maybe different relationships, different strokes for different folks.
I want Colin to care.
Maybe he does. I'm not in his life, but that's a special thing. I don't even kiss on the first date, so I'm traditional, old school. So I don't even know.
Well, that's not what
I'm
we
the
heard.
right person.
Tell us more about your new special.
Parks Season 8 is out now. 7 new national parks. I'd love it if everyone checked it out. We go all over the country. You see the biodiversity of America. Also, we do some really fun activities like bungee jumping, night kayaking, things like that.
And it's really hot.
And it's really hot, and no one was angry. The men were, but the women were.
Okay. It's because I wasn't there.
That's
I
right.
would have made you angry.
All right, we're going to end it right there. Let me see something. What happened if I close the window? All right. So if you're still watching this, my name is Noel. Thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up. And to be honest with you, the whole New York City mayor, that socialist communist guy, that scumbag who looks like he's about to destroy the city. And yet, if he gets voted in, it's going to be great television. Because all you're going to see is a bunch of New Yorkers complaining about all the crazy changes and how this guy trying to do free buses, trying to defund the police, trying to go against ICE, trying to go against the federal government, trying to go against Trump. All of that is just going to bring hell to the city. So buckle up. It's going to be great television. And no more complaining about Chicago mayor or Los Angeles. It's going to be insane in New York City because I can't believe that this guy is beating Cuomo. Like, are you serious? But it just goes to show where the Democratic Party's at. And even AOC and what's the other one, Scarlett, or whatever the other young lady is, the senator, both of them, awful choices. And they're supporting this communist because they also believe in socialism. They also believe in giving people free stuff, taking the rich people and just hating on them. But again, it's going to be great television to have that guy win. Just to see it, because I moved out of the city. I grew up in Harlem, 20 years living there, going through hell, left it. Now I'm in PA, and I love it. Just watching the city from outside looking in. But living in there is going to be hell. So let's see if he wins. If you're in the city, hey, you know who to vote for. Let's just watch this movie, because that guy is just going to destroy everything. But Trump is just moving on up. July 4th, I thought he had to get the big, beautiful bill signed by next week, by July 4th. So let's see what happens. Another crazy, crazy show coming up that Trump is bringing to you guys. I'm trying to set up my camera here. Earlier, my camera just fell. I had problems trying to get it to lock in. But what else? What was the other news that Jesse Watters was talking about? So the ICE raids, you got Tom Homan just not giving up, doing the best he can to deport all the illegals. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take a while. And every day, he's just pushing forward. Let's go. And now with the New York City mayor who's going to be going up against ICE, you can only imagine the television. It's going to be great television. But with that said, all day, mira para acá. Saluda a la cámara. All right, let me get out of here. Again, before you go anywhere, give it a thumbs up so like that we could keep recording. All right, peace. Wait, anything else? No.